of a salute at this point. Almost as if he would salute a fallen comrade before picking up on his journey, which will be a journey of revenge. Interesting situation, because obviously Bourne is now going off on a journey to discover Marie and why. While Landy is off on her own journey to find out who's killed her people and why. They will bring her to Treadstone and ultimately to Jason Bourne. Going on. The others don't want her to go on it. Start to weave together these two journeys. Scene they intersect. Knows its fingerprint. This is a scene which I suppose in some ways reprises some necessary information from the first film, but I wanted to still sell our style, that it should be hand unconsidered, rough, things almost despite themselves rather than have it served up to you spoon-fed. See, to meet Abbott, Brian Cox, who'd played an important role in the first film, but in this second film comes a set we shall see. Confrontation. You want evenly matched adversaries of different qualities. With Brian and Joan in this scene, you've got two perfectly matched actors, contrasting styles, all reserved, a piercing intelligence, and Brian with that. I have this flow. You're in for an intrigue.
Bourne was his number one.
Bourne stories, the plots are tangled, and the end of the story is limitless. It's Naples one minute, it's Goa the next, it's Berlin, it's London, it's Washington, it's the world that Bourne's running from. The story keep coming, and as you lay them down like pieces of a jigsaw, I think you're struggling to find pieces that fit together, and the way that this film defeats you in that for quite a long time. You don't really understand what the connections are, but yet you know there are connections. There's a lot of pleasure in that for an audience, I think. There's the little looks and bring the scene alive, make it seem real. Because essentially it's a scene of exposition, this. And quints, but somehow put this together in a way that gives it life. That says a story you're about to touch, and when something will happen. This scene, this was Matt's idea actually, that we should have a scene where in essence he was playing possum. That even if you don't know it consciously, you know that he is one concealed ball of energy. Vicious young CIA officer realised the wrong man to be officious with. He thinks he's in control. The important thing to know about that scene is that the punch to Bourne's left that laid out our hapless Nevins, the CIA officer, was real. That actually laid him out. And when he came round, he said, "Did you get it on camera?" I thought in his nose or something, because it was a hell of a whack. But it was pick up, real pace, real momentum. And all the scattering of the threads of the story is complete.
This is Pamela Landy, CI supervisor.
I mean,
You got away.
from the end of Naples
Locked it down, no.
is
Literally, the
transition from the story opening out to the story starting to come together again. When Bourne is thrown into action. An interesting one. We discussed it a lot, whether to take the colour out or put my colour in, or maybe use visual effects to augment them. But in the end, I always fancied they needed to be just real, no different. So we understood that whatever it was that troubled him happened on a rainy night in a car. It brings you close to Bourne in his solitariness. For what we're trying to do with the character. I didn't know her, but I admired her work. She had more of a role to play in this second story, that somehow she could make the story turn on Bourne's encounter with her and change her look. You know, it was a couple of years later on, she would be a woman who had tried to put the experience of Treadstone behind her. But of course one day, probably as she had always suspected, it would turn up on her doorstep. I've seen this one. I love the composition. Sort of informal and yet quite confident. Theme that the film started to kick in. I think, a more focused sense of two journeys, Bourne's to Berlin and of course Landis to Berlin. They're going to collide. Tempelhof Airport, extraordinary, vast structure. City, it's not a city with ready landmarks. It's a city with a legacy of division. It's a city with a dark past and a bright future, and in that sense it was a great city for Bourne's next chapter to be played out, because he's a character with a dark past and a bright future, or trying to make a bright future.
He's making his first mistake.
Just an ordinary suburban street, upscale, designed, but yet still middle class, ordinary, aspiring, yuppie. Home. Be a meticulous man. You can see that by the way his coat and his glasses. Up ahead.
I emptied it.
Like a goldfish bowl, so that you could feel that whatever occurred in this space would be visible if you bothered to look from the street. About it. It was an ordinary house. I think for a meeting. The last two Treadstone operatives.
You lost your memory.
Operatives meet for knowledge. Be like a cruel and vicious ballet. I love Extra the Blinds. Cool, and made you feel the impact, made you feel the messiness of it. Pristine about the fight in the first film, which was wonderful, but I wanted this fight to be messier and yet still feel like a structured dance. Mixture glass, Venetians, paper. Coordinator came up with the idea of the rolled up magazine. It was an absolutely brilliant and very Bourne-esque touch. Bourne, of course, unlike James Bond, he doesn't have technology to get him out of trouble. He has to improvise with what's available, and what better than a magazine? Turn a magazine into a lethal weapon. Brilliant. In here. Like a man is, he's killed again. Back into Bourne mode, aware of the danger. Moonshot, we had so many cameras out on it. Looked like a gas explosion. And for another little look at Bourne, always trying to bring us closer to what he thinks and feels about it. One of my favourite scenes in the film. Again, is magnificent here. The way that hand is being scrubbed, you can tell. It says, whatever it takes. Film set. Films are the products of many hands. Good films are generally good because the group of people that make them work with each other, fire off each other, and that was certainly true of this film. It was an extremely harmonious film, I think. Any film set at any given moment, there are problems to be solved, and generally people on sets see their own problems. You know, a sound man will see the problem of the sound. You know, maybe there's an aeroplane close or whatever. The cameraman will see his or her problems. Maybe the light's not falling in the right direction. You know, they will want the whole set to be seen. You know, the electricians will be worried about where to set the lights. You know, the producer will be worried about how they're doing. The director will be worried about all the million things you worry about. And all the time, everybody on film sets is always looking for their problems to be solved individually. But an actor, particularly the leading actor in a film, the thing I'm always very conscious of is that the actor is the one person on a film set who can solve everybody's problems in one instant. At just the right moment, he or she can open the shot up and make it work, can make the light fall in just the right way, by speaking at just the right level can solve the sound man's problems, by opening the body can open the set up. It's ability, and it's that ability to do it time and time and time again, and it's the mark of a great actor. That ability to solve problems instinctively, that ability to do done with impeccable timing and great sense of understatement and yet presence, to in a character so thoroughly that even as in this sequence where he's following her, you see all the colours of Bourne, the ingenuity by which he traces Landy, the determination that he's going to track her down. The story without a word, and that was the great challenge of this film. How could Bourne dominate this film when he had so little to say? And it was, I think, a triumph that in this performance he brought us so close to the human cost of Bourne.
Now, I want to break this out in boxes.
Cut with what's going on in the hub, as we called it, the CIA secret location where the Bourne operation is being run from. And I want to feel real and live, and as if they really wanted him. As he's outside.
Stay on the local cops.
World.
Send her alone?
Gets a good response because Bourne is one step ahead. Aid, say here, between Landy and Abbott.
Alright, I'm going to take a look.
Okay, save the time.